Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of the Huddle, KGUN9 streaming sports talk show. I'm Jason Barr. You can see Pat Parris there at Chase Field as the Diamondbacks and Rangers are set to play Game 4 of the World Series. Pat, good afternoon. I don't think this is your first World Series, if I'm not mistaken. I believe you cover the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think, let's see, 4 World Series with the Cardinals and a couple more just as fans along the way. So, yeah, nothing new, but exciting that it's here after 22 years, Jason. We got another World Series here at Chase Field in Phoenix.
I was there last night, and definitely a huge atmosphere and a great atmosphere, Pat. But, story comes out today. Game 1 was the least watched World Series Game 1 in World Series history. What do you make of that?
Yeah, because there's no dominant East Coast, West Coast kind of team that, there's no Dodger team involved. There's no Mets or Yankees. There's no Red Sox. I get it. You're not going to have that big of an audience necessarily. But I think if, say, the Diamondbacks were to win tonight, even the series up, the deeper it goes, as well as I do, everybody loves, tight series and long series. So as the games build on, if you got to a game 6 or 7, I think the ratings will be just fine.
Yeah, and Dallas and Phoenix are major markets. It shouldn't be that low. Anyway, before we get to Game 4 tonight, let's first touch on Game 3 last night. Diamondbacks lose 3-1. Max Scherzer, who actually pitched for the Tucson Sidewinders for a brief time, got the start for the Rangers. Didn't last very long. I believe he had a stiff back, but replaced in Gray with the 3 strong innings. And certainly the Diamondback mistake early on of Christian Walker running through third base. For people who don't know, Tony Parris is the Diamondbacks third base coach. He was actually at the World Series last year, but it was the Women's College World Series. His daughter plays softball for the U of A. Pat, I think there's blame both to go around. I know Parris stopped with the go and then went with the hold, and Walker ran through that, but I believe it should have been a stop the whole way. Adolis Garcia is the player who had, I believe, the most outfield assists for the whole season. That's a mistake by the Diamondbacks, and I believe that cost them last night.
Yeah, and I feel like it was Christian Walker's fault, because what you do as a third base coach is he was telling him to go, because you have to wait to see how it's played. And once it's played properly and not botched at all, then you put up the stop sign, which is what he did. The problem Christian Walker is he put his head down rounding third base and never looked back again. There was still time to stop once he touches third base, takes a step past third base, but he never looked back. And all of a sudden, he's halfway home, and you just got to send him at that point. He's got to keep going. And it's unfortunate, Jason. You know those kind of mistakes, can change the outcome of a game. It's early. You hope you can make up for it. That was a big miss, though. You talk about scoring runs, first and third, and nobody out versus first and 1 out. That's just huge.
Yeah, right on the second one. We take a look at Adolis Garcia there, who got hurt swinging the bat.
Yeah, he's not in tonight's lineup. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
He's not going to be in tonight's lineup.
I would have been surprised if he was. That oblique type of injury, that's not day-to-day. That's more like weeks. No, I'd be, depending upon how bad it is, the way he looked yesterday, I'm not surprised he's not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, and unless he, just gets a lot of treatment and feels better by, say, Game 6, if we get to a Game 6, that would be the earliest you could see him. He won't play tonight. He won't play tomorrow night either. If he's a gamer, he might try to go in 6 or 7. But, yeah, that's definitely something that could take weeks, not just a day.
So you think of the bullpen game tonight favors the Diamondbacks. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, well, because last night, in essence, because Scherzer went out so early, became a bullpen game for the Rangers, and they handled it well. But they have 2 nights of bullpen starts, basically a bullpen game where you're going to use many, many relievers all the way through. And I think the Diamondbacks, while they used a few guys in the bullpen, they're ready to go tonight. They knew that this game was going to be that way. And I think we'll see Kevin Ginkel, the former Wildcat, who's been so terrific this season, but especially here in the postseason. We generally see him when they have the lead, and he's kind of the setup guy, the guy that's going to take you through those critical 7-8. Right, and I think we'll see him. And, if the Diamondbacks get a lead tonight and add on just a little bit, I think they have an excellent chance to even the series tonight.
Yeah, you're going to have a report on Ginkel. He was a guest on this show, The Huddle, last year. Yep. Who would have known a year later, he'd be pitching in the World Series and having such a fantastic year. And so it's great to have a little U of A connection there. We saw a few Tucson fans made their way up from Tucson last night. Not a huge contingent, but there's definitely some. So it's good to have that connection.
And don't forget, Jason, you go online and if you went on the line the last few days, you'd be lucky to find a ticket for $450 or $500. Most of them going for much, much more than that. So you
Hey, Pat, we
understand
saw
why.
parking for $80 last night.
It's 100 now. John Parr, our chief photographer, told me that the same thing was 80 when you were here last night is now 100 tonight. So you understand, but that doesn't mean there isn't a loyal Diamondbacks base in Tucson. There definitely is. You and I both know that there are fans of baseball, of the Diamondbacks, and as we mentioned, 22 years since this happened again. I'm not surprised because a lot of times these seats are not the normal fans. You know what I mean? They're a little too pricey for the average fan in a lot of cases. But I think you get this sense that this whole state of Arizona is rooting for this team. We love to see a world champion. We love to see a national champion. It's been a while for this state.
Yeah, let's hope Jay Powell didn't hear that part about the 80 to 100 with the Fed meeting coming up this week. But they've affectionately nicknamed the answer backs this team, the Diamondbacks. They're going to have to be the bounce backs tonight. But they did so in Texas after they lost game one. It was really kind of a heartbreaking fashion. There were some complaints about the strike zone yesterday. Did you make a big deal about that?
Well, I do in the sense that there were a couple of calls that go that way, and I'm not one that blames the officials. You have to do whatever the umpires or officials.
It wasn't consistent.
It was not consistent, and there were a couple of them, Jason, that were key moments. Even in the ninth inning, that what should have been a walk ended up being a ground out. There's a huge difference between the leadoff guy getting on and the leadoff guy making an out.
All the difference in the world.
That goes without saying. And yeah, you can't blame the official. That was pretty bad umpiring, though. You're the best of the best, right? You're supposed to be, and here you are in the crucial moments making a couple of bad calls. There was also a strike call against, I can't remember which Ranger it was, that they ended up giving a walk, and it was clearly the third strike. And it just makes you frustrated when you're in a game that's only a 2-run game. It should have been maybe an extra inning game last night.
All right, listen, if you get hungry, there's a taco place right around 3rd and Jefferson. So, so Pat got a burrito last night. I got the carne asada tacos. Like they said, authentic. You never know. They were really good. They were really good.
I'll look for it. I'll be hungry after about 5 and the 6 o'clock live.
Yeah. All right, so listen, enjoy the game and go do the work you need to do for the 5 and 6 o'clock today on K-Gun, and I'll take it from here on the Arizona football with you thought Noah Fafita should be the QB. Hey, they won. So we'll talk about that. But anyway, enjoy the game tonight, and we'll look for your reports on K-Gun at 5 and 6 as the Diamondbacks play game 4 of the World Series against the Texas Rangers.
Sounds good, Jason. Go D-backs.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Pat. That was Pat Parris outside Chase Field as the Diamondbacks are set to play the Texas Rangers in game 4 of the World Series. If the Diamondbacks do come back and win, they're going to have to do so in Texas, though. Games 4 and 5 at Chase Field, and then the series returns to Texas for games 6 and 7. Like I said, they've affectionately been nicknamed the answer backs. They're going to have to be the bounce back Diamondbacks tonight. I think they could do it in what will essentially be a bullpen game. No starting pitcher is going to go that long. So that's the situation at Chase Field tonight. And also, we could talk a little Arizona football. Wow, how about this team, right? Okay, we're waiting for them to break through. They had the close losses. They lose in overtime at Mississippi State. They lose in 4 overtimes at USC. Teddy Bruschi comes and talks to the team before they go to Washington State. And they go to Washington State and they break through and actually blow out the Cougars on the road. Then they come back here as we take a look at Arizona taking on Oregon State last week, and they beat a ranked team for the 2nd straight week. And they've got a chance now this week to beat a ranked team for the 3rd straight week when UCLA comes to play Arizona Stadium this Saturday. I'm Jason Barr, by the way. You can make comments, and I'll read your comments and all that. So Arizona football can beat a ranked team for the 3rd straight week, okay? And they actually got 6 votes, did the Wildcats, in the AP Top 25 poll, which is just crazy. It speaks to the job that Jed Fish has done. And, they're 5 and 3. Hey, you could make a case that they're one of the best 3-loss teams in the country, if not the best 3-loss team in the country. Look at who their 3 losses are to, right? You've got at an SEC team on the road, at USC in overtime, at USC on the road 4 overtimes, and then to a Washington team that's one of the top teams in the country, and that was only to 7 points at home. So this team, and really the way that the offense took charge of the game in the fourth quarter against Oregon State was very impressive. And, there's just players on this team that you have not seen in a long time with this program. A wide receiver like Teteroa McMillan, who we just saw, okay? An interior defensive lineman like Bill Norton, who really just makes his presence felt, on defense. And just some of the other guys, a luxury type of player like a Speedy Luke who can come in and make a play on third down. And then how about the running of Jonah Coleman, just a bruising running back, who just beats on defenders, really a tough guy to break down. So Arizona beats Oregon State. Actually, there was a little bit of a storming of the field after the game. You don't want to ever call a storming of the field orderly because you don't want to justify it or make it seem like it's normal. We don't want anybody to storm the field. You want to act like you've been there before. The last time the fans stormed the field was when they broke the 20-game losing streak in 2021 and they beat Cal. I guess they beat 11th ranked team. People wanted to storm the field. I saw a couple of fans leave, and one was kind of hurt a little bit, who got knocked down or something. So luckily nothing bad happened. And actually the way that they have the goalposts now is that these goalposts fold down, right? So you don't have a situation where people can jump up on the goalpost and tear it down and get hurt. So we don't have that. And hopefully the next time they've got a big game like that, they can act like they've won and they've been there before. So it's Arizona against UCLA, and as Jed Fish said the other week, only one more plane trip left. That's to Colorado, because Utah's going to come here. And you don't fly to go play ASU, obviously. So now you got the team here 5-3 with 4 games to go, and considering you have ASU and Colorado on the schedule, you're going to assume here this team, the way the momentum is, the way they've been playing, this is not a team that's going to fall apart, right? This is a team that's going to get multiple wins likely in their next few games. So now we can kind of start to not just fantasize, but think about what type of bowl game this team might be going to, because the bowl game projections are now out, and there's different ones for Arizona. I think I saw one at the Alamo Bowl, one at the Las Vegas Bowl, and it could be anywhere, right? Because right now they're in a 4-way tie for third in the Pac-12. And so it goes by, how you position in each conference. So, is slotted for whatever bowl game. But I think that if there's a little bit of a tie, I think you could see Arizona go to the LA Bowl. So for those who may not know, there's a bowl at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. It's called the LA Bowl. But for the last couple of years, the Jimmy Kimmel Show sponsored the bowl. So it was the LA Bowl or the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, right? So he's not the sponsor this year. It's the Rob Gronkowski Bowl, believe it or not. And so how cool would it be to see Arizona go to the LA Bowl, with Rob Gronkowski? I know the team would much rather go to Los Angeles than Albuquerque for the New Mexico Bowl. Not that that's one slated, but you know what I mean. I think that would be a cool bowl to go to. But if the Alamo Bowl or the Las Vegas Bowl are bigger money bowls, you want to go to the bowl game. That's going to be the bigger money bowl game, especially for a program that hasn't been to a bowl game since 2017 when they went to the, I believe, the Foster Farms Bowl in San Jose. It was a stretch of 5 bowl games in 6 years, and there's just been a drought since then. The team falling apart in 18, 4-8 record in 19, winless in 20, and Jed Fish has just built up this program, and he made the right calls. The play calling looked great. The coaching staff looks really smart. Anytime you're able to stuff out a fake field goal, which the Wildcats did to Oregon State at the end of the second quarter, which was a big difference in the game, certainly late. And they did win by 3 points, so that turned out to be a really big play. So the coaching staff looked good, the play calling looked good, and then of course the big obvious decision is, Jed Fish kind of took himself out of it and made it seem like Delora wasn't 100%, so he was going to go with Fafita. But if Delora's 100% now, I was in the camp of going back to Jaden Delora. I don't know how you can right now. The team is just really clicking, and the chemistry between Noah Fafita and Teteroa McMillan, the high school teammates at Servite, just really strong. And this team just looks like a winning team. And, the difference between Noah Fafita and Jaden Delora, is Noah Fifita is going to make fewer mistakes, but he's also going to make fewer exciting plays. He's going to, escape a sack not quite as much as Jaden Delora. So to me, it really just kind of depends upon your cup of tea and what QB do you want. And if you want a QB who's going to make fewer mistakes and you think that's the bigger upside than Delora, who's maybe going to make a couple more plays but make a couple of more mistakes, I mean, then you're going to want to go with Delora. But the situation now is the team is just rolling with Fifita. And it's just tough to take a quarterback out of the lineup right now who's been playing that well and with that much confidence, and the team is behind him. And I know it's going to be tough for Delora to sit, but you never know what's going to happen or when your opportunity is going to come again. So I see Fifita starting. I'd be surprised if he doesn't start against UCLA team that comes in at Arizona Stadium at 7:30 Saturday, and the 20th ranked team in the country. So that's what we got here with Arizona football, and an exciting team that did not have a good crowd against Oregon State. I think it was announced, about 45,000 maybe, and just the eye test. It really didn't look that great in the stands. I think it's going to be different this week. It's going to be homecoming. You've got UCLA. You've got UCLA coming in for the last time in a very long time, of course, because of the Pac-12 dissolving. You got Rob Gronkowski. He's going to be an honorary captain with homecoming. So I think you'll see a good crowd. And I hope the Wildcats put on a good show for the crowd. I really do, because too many people leave at halftime of these games. Just on an anecdotal note, actually, I was working on our basketball special for KGUN 9, and so I watched the first half of the game on television, and I drove to the game at halftime, and parking was too easy, right? People had left at halftime. How do you leave at halftime? The game was, 10-all? How do you leave at halftime, Wildcat fans, if the game is 10-all, right? I don't blame anybody, Wildcat fan, for not showing up. I understand the team hasn't been good for a while. I understand, inflation's hurt some people. I get it. I disagree with Teddy Bruschi when he was calling out the fans for not coming. Hey, if the fans don't want to come, the program hasn't put on a good enough product or done well enough in a long enough time, you keep winning, the fans will show up. Don't worry about that part. Okay, I don't blame the fans for not showing up. There's other things you can do with your entertainment dollar. Okay, but what I don't understand is leaving at halftime when the game is 10-all. Right? It was a good game against the 11th ranked team. Right? What are you going to? Right? It shouldn't have been that easy for me to park at halftime. I understand if you're down by 2-3 scores, okay, and it's an 8:00 game, it's 9:45, you're tired, maybe you work a schedule where you got to get up, at 6 a.m. or whatever, so you're tired. And I understand the 8:00 games when the game's a blowout at halftime, but I don't know how you leave a game at halftime when it's 10-10 and you're playing the 11th ranked team in the country and the team's been on a rise, right? It's not like it's been going in the wrong direction this year. So, like I said, I don't question the fans for not coming. That's fine. What you want to do is what you want to do. But if you're going to make the effort to go, to pay for the ticket, to pay for the parking, to see half the game, why not just see the other half of the game? I don't know. Somebody will have to explain that to me. The amount of fans that leave at halftime. But there you have it. So Arizona football 5-3 and hosting UCLA. All right. So to wrap it up here, we got the Diamondbacks. Thanks again for Pat Parris for taking a few minutes. And we'll be there tomorrow night with Heidi Alaga, our other main anchor, along with Pat. She'll be there for Game 5. And, listen, this Diamondback team has bounced back before. It's a Diamondback team that you just never thought would win a Game 6 in Philadelphia and then a Game 7 in Philadelphia. And one of the things, though, that's tough is this Texas Rangers team is 9-0 on the road in the postseason. So they play really, really well. But, Adolis Garcia is not going to be in the lineup tonight, and that hurts them both offense and defense. And so, if the Diamondbacks can outpitch the Rangers bullpen, they can even up this series. And then we got a new series, kind of best of 3 as we head to Game 5. So that's the scene here, and we'll talk more Arizona basketball next week. There'll be plenty of time for that, but we might as well touch on the World Series, of course, with the Diamondbacks in it, and Pat there. All right, that does it for the Huddle, KGUN 9's weekly sports talk show on all of our digital streaming platforms. For Pat Parris, I'm Jason Barr. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you right back here at the same time next Tuesday.